It's your boy Curtis L, aka Strykerprime, and you're walking into the game of another edition of The World Outside My Window. Brought to you by However We Get It Done. Yo, I don't know what to say to y'all folks, but it even surprises me today. Let's see. As we all expected, we're sitting there, I guess people across the nation have been sitting at the edge of their seats in some way, form, or fashion, wondering about how this is going to go down with with our new former president and him getting impeached by by his own constituents as well as Congress. Excuse me, just had to put on this for here. And lo and behold, the boy about to catch that heat. He's about to catch that heat. Abuse of power. Technically behind the scenes high treason. And the fact that you've been ducking and dodging on federal financial information directly from the SEC and all them folks in New York City. Boy, you was done. You was done. There's no way you coming out of that. You nor your kids, nor your wife. And I put just more lightly, his wife and that youngest son of his, Barron Trump, they're not gonna be in this country long. They about to bail. She about to divorce old boy and bail out. I give Miss Melania up until maybe 2021 to get up out this country with that youngest son and get him away from that corrupt family, even though he's born under his daddy's blood. Now, as far as his other kids, from his other two marriages, they ain't got a leg to stand on. Between the son with the girl, so the wife that's involved in politics, the daughter with her boyfriend, husband, or whatever the case may be in his politics. I say doing some underground stuff in the politics. I mean, listen. Your father created your father just showed nepotism to y'all while he was in the White House. That's some of the dumbest crap I've ever seen done in my entire life. Now, we already know that when Bush Senior was in office, he had already 2 gun kids. Then Bush number 2 popped up, and what did his daughters do? They became a bunch of technically drunken sluts for a hot minute. And now you got Trump and his family as a laughing stock. I'm sorry. You pretty much have single-handedly turned this United States to a laughing stock altogether. You have unconditionally and unconventionally set us apart from the rest of the world, with the so-called trade wars and all kinds of nonsense, and you thought you were doing something great. At the same time, you were trying to orchestrate, I repeat, orchestrate a war to start, and then claim that you were going to end, so that way it would make you look like the best president in the world. I'm sorry, that wasn't gonna happen. I feel like that was your failing point, bruh. Technically, from a technical business standpoint, that was a failing point. You may have been so-called good at business, but you bad in business at the same time. You were good in business, but you were bad in business overall. And you fell. You fell short. And you felt like a sucker. So, at that point, bro, you ain't got a leg to stand on. And on top of that, not only have you committed federal crimes, at the same time, you've also committed crimes against the state of New York, which they're already pulling up a registry ready to knock you out the box and get you locked up and get you through the SEC and everybody else in between. You got no chance, boy. So, to the Republicans, you knew you elected a fool. And now that fool is about to fall down, is about to take his fall before the end of the year. Once the end of the year comes, and the beginning of the new year starts, his fall starts to take place. And again, like I had posted before, during the contest of for the presidency's campaign and race in 2016, we were dealing with the lesser two evils. It was Trump and it was Hillary Clinton. Honestly, I was planning and voting for Hillary regardless, because I still see lesser two evils. Yes, she came out her mouth and called black kids super predators, but yet look what happened. Her husband was pretty much King Ho along the way. And then, let's see, between that, and then he gets caught, he gets impeached, they didn't get divorced. Which is a smart move on her part. And that would have actually, if she got elected, became president, that would have made, for the first time in ever history, a first lady becoming the president, and then her husband, who was president, becoming the first man. That would have been an actual history-making event. But you chose wrong, and then you saw what happened in the last 3 3/4 of a year to this country on the world stage. The world stage looks at us now like, so you're America. Whatever. You're America. Who cares? And with that, it makes no sense. So, overall, based on your own, pal. Now, another thing that comes to mind. I was hearing some mess about the whole, that chick from the Bronx who technically staged her own kidnapping because her mama was strict. I got a few choice words for that little girl. You're 16 and you're stupid. Yeah, I said it. We all been stupid when we were 16. Let's get it in. But there's a point where you get stupid and then you take stupid a bit too far. This young lady took stupid and went way too far. Just because your mama had a set of rules in your mama's house that you didn't want to abide to. And you had some dude wrangle up and set up to have you kidnapped, so that way you wouldn't be under your mama's rules. How about this? I said to take this option. Get out your mama's house, go to the job corps, and then you can live your life. If you think that your mother's rules are harsh on you out there, you ain't seen what life can do to you, shorty. So my advice to you is this: before you think you can get big in your britches, humble yourself, because in the long run, when it comes down to it, or now in the long run, you've already made a mark on yourself, and everybody across the state of New York, and possibly this entire country, is going to look at you real sideways, especially when it comes to you finding a job. No offense, but that's how it's going to go down. Once you hit 18 and you try to look for work, they're going to look at you sideways like, yo, oh, you a chick that did such and such. And guess what? That's going to be your mark for the rest of your life. When you have children and your name comes up and the other parents talk about you and your kids hear that, they're going to, with the fact that there's the power of the internet now, they're going to look at you and turn around and actually do research about you and your past. And they're going to be like, mama, why do they have to go down that road? And then you're going to have, and then as a parent, you're going to have to sit and look and understand why your child looks at you the way, and for your actions, and afterwards want to trip up just like you did. So you think it's bad out there because you under your mama's roof. The rest of the world is actually worse than that. So if I were you, like I said, I humble myself and chill out, because doing what you did as far as that whole runaway nonsense, I said that whole fake kidnapping nonsense, and that crap, and wasting the public's time, wasting police time, and causing a big stir. That's a mess. I know I was actually talking to somebody about the whole thing about this, saying that they shouldn't crucify this young lady for what she did. Honestly, from a public view standpoint, that's the same as like saying somebody who did something to protect themselves and they got in trouble, and the parents are the ones who actually caught the parents of the child. I'll give a clear example. I was actually telling to the person about, okay, if you don't want to see the idea of this girl getting crucified, then the young man who was, I guess, he was found out that he was gay, the young Spanish kid who went to a Bronx school, and they found out he was gay and he was being bullied by a couple of black kids, and he stabbed one of them, and the kid died. And the mother was sitting here crying. She wanted justice for her son. And y'all want to crucify that. Y'all want to crucify that young man who's in jail. I think who's in jail and serving time now for trying to protect himself. You shouldn't be. I'm sorry. You can't have it both ways. This young lady sat here and caused a stir across the entire city. This young man was trying to protect himself, and yet he tried to get help. And the school didn't help him. He couldn't get no help outside the school. They just went and they brushed it off and dismissed it. So he took matters in his own hands. He didn't have no other option. I guess his parents couldn't understand it, and he had no other option. They couldn't talk to the parents of the bully to solve the problem before it got to the point where that boy lost his life. So before you come out and say you don't want somebody being crucified for such and such a situation, look at another situation and think about that and be like, okay, that person should be crucified for his actions. He was trying to protect himself, and yet there was no help to help him get out of the situation he was in before it got to be an extreme measure. I have to honestly say, yes, the boy didn't deserve to die, but at the same time, he had no right. That boy had no right, and I repeat this term clearly, he had no right to harm another kid all because he was gay. So what? I went through my entire school career. I'm 41 years old now. I went through my entire school life. I had gay friends. I knew kids who were gay and I didn't expect it. I expected out of it, but I had a notion that they might be. I never teased them, not for that sexual orientation, not for sexual orientation. I'd be like, listen, we joke around, we have fun, but we never teased each other over that. Yeah, back then we used to say some really harsh words. There were supposedly trigger words nowadays that we said back in the 80s. But people got along with it. After people grew up, we as kids growing up had thicker skin than the kids that are growing up today. And that's one of the main things which I actually have to expect. This generation is lost and soft in the way they do things, how they handle situations. Because it's all about, run and tell this, run and tell that, and see if you can try to get the help. I understand, yet there's barriers that have created mental health issues, not only for these kids, but also some adults today. So my whole thing closed out this whole my show today is basically, you know what? If there are problems that you feel that you can't face, I suggest it's better to talk it out than to create other problems that are going to be too big for you to even solve. That's all I got to say about that. So keep striking, keep striving. This is your boy Strykerprime for the world outside my window. And, I'll see you next time. Peace.